NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as a coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
It'll be Sanders to begin the drive. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And, you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over in Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. And he played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon, and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Played well enough that in 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft of 30 rounds then.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. And able to work about 5 yards out of this as he's taken down up near the 47. But Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp, actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL. But it was still during his time with the Eagles, you and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles with quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Van Brocklin coached with the coach with the Vikings. And was there during that time. I think Coach Madden realized his love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
On first down, Montana. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Charles, you know, it was in the early 1960s that a young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, in 1967, Brandon, Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. Remember, this was still the AFL at that point. We had not merged totally with the NFL. And Coach Madden, he paid dividends almost immediately. Helped the Raiders win the AFL title in 1968. And that meant a date with the Green Bay Packers in what was now known as Super Bowl II. But by 1969, at the age of 32, just 32, Brandon, John Madden assumed the mantle of head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And what a ride he, the Raiders, and the NFL were about to go on.
Yeah, he'll be out just a yard or two shy of the 30. A big play there as they get the conversion on 3rd and 13.
Charles, you talked about John Madden and the Raiders going on a ride. Well, try these numbers on for size. In 10 seasons as a head coach, the Raiders won their division 7 times. They finished second the other 3 times. And he became the youngest coach to amass 100 career regular season victories and is still, to this day, the franchise leader in wins.
And when you think about it, that's where that rivalry with Kansas City really took root, as did the expression commitment to excellence. And boy, was it personified by the players who played for Coach Madden. On offense, how about quarterback Kenny Stable, wide receiver Cliff Branch, wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff, tight end Dave Casper, to name a few. How about those great linemen he had? Center Jim Otto, guard Gene Upshaw, tackle Art Shell, all of them in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And guys on the defensive side of the ball, the Mad Stork himself, Ted Hendricks, Willie Brown, John Matuzak, Otis Sistrunk, and Big Ben Davidson. So many great players, so many great memories.
Able to fight for about 4 yards there to the 13.
That second down play call was not to pick up the first down. It was to accomplish what they did, to get them into a manageable 3rd down, because they had incompletion on first down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
To throw is Montana. And he will find his man on the outside. And he's got this inside the 10 to the 9 before he's out of bounds. Short completion, just 4 yards, and that's going to make it 4th down. Going for it was Sanders. And he has the first down before he's tackled at the 5.
Almost feel sorry for the kicker here, because you know he wants to go out there and contribute, but they keep saying stay on the bench. I think it's just simply a matter of a head coach saying, I believe more in my guys with the football than sending you out there to kick it.
Well, he wants to make a big statement here on the opening drive, and a statement he's making. Now they've got it 1st and goal after that conversion. Smith trying to run for it, and he will carry this one in. Touchdown, NFC. Emmitt Smith, a 5-yard touchdown run. And the NFC takes it all the way down the field to score on their opening drive. Extra point by Anderson, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. That one was an extended drive, 14 plays all told. And it's the Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith who caps it off with a touchdown run.
No run back here for Hall, and this will come out to the 25. So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD. 759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in a conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
Hey, we want to let you know, give you a fair warning that coming up at halftime, the folks at EA Sports have put together a very nice package in tribute to Coach Madden. So make sure you stick around for that. Again, coming up at halftime.
Call that a 45-yard punt, just 2 yards there on the return. And the NFC will take over 1st and 10. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. I mean, look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of...
Touchdown! Randy Moss, 69 yards. And the NFC strikes quickly for 6. Extra point by Anderson, up and good. And it's now 14-0. Well, the offense wasn't out there for a long time, but they were out there for a good time. One play, and they're able to hit pay dirt. Following the touchdown, here's Anderson to kick it away. And Hall not going to bring this one out. The offense for the AFC set to go now. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here.
Meanwhile, Brady's throw caught by his receiver, Hill.
Now the AFC going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half.
We're backed up here. Tough spot, needing 11 yards to pick up the first.
Throwing is Brady on 3rd down. Well, the NFC pressure a little too much as they get home for the sack. Reggie White, he's the culprit, causes a loss of 5, and it brings up 4th down. On is the Hall of Famer Ray Guy to punt this away on 4th down. Here's Hester. They'll net only 35 here following a 43-yard boot, 8-yard return. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. They'll indeed try to run it out as they start on the ground. And he's not going to go anywhere as they get him down behind the line of scrimmage.
Stephon Gilmore, he was the one defensively there who really blew that play up before it got started.
Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see.
Thirty-yard line, 2nd and 12.
Shotgun. Here's Montana. Going up top.
This throw incomplete, nearly picked off. And with his pedigree, he doesn't drop many of those. But third down coming up.
They gave it a shot with a deep pass, but it wasn't going to work there. And now there's less time for them to try and get 3 before the half. Let's see what they dial up on this next snap.
They'll throw now on the final play. He's going to take another shot here. And that is incomplete.
Well, coming up in the second half, we'll run through.